Well, hello there internet, and welcome to my Project Playtime Ultimate Toy Guides Tips and Tricks. Below in the video timeline you can go to the chapter you're interested to learn about, or check the description or pinned comment for those chapters. And make sure to like and subscribe for new videos coming out. Without further ado, let's make survivors suffer. To start off, I'll talk about some general tips about playing as a toy. Sometimes it's not easy to understand if you landed a hit on a survivor, as the feedback of the hits are a bit off. The easiest way to make sure you connect with a hit is that the crosshair turns red. This means you're within range to land a hit on the survivor. Each toy has a different hit speed, which can affect things like opening lockers. Mommy Longlegs and Huggy both have somewhat slower hit speeds, while Boxy is incredibly fast. Some survivors, while being chased, will hide in a locker to try and buy some time. Boxy can counter this since he has a fast hit rate, but he deals the lowest damage, needing to hit survivors a bit more to down them. Pulling a survivor out of a locker will instant down them, hence why Boxy is such a good chase toy. Sound is also a major advantage in-game. You can listen to footsteps and try to determine where survivors are heading and get a chance to cut them off. With time, map knowledge is key to using this and gaining the upper hand. Also pay attention to the lights while playing. Red, yellow, and orange lights tend to mark passages the survivors will want to take while being chased. Most tend to have an extra path for the toy to follow, with some being good since they cut off the survivor's route, and others that will lose more distance during a chase than just waiting for the gate to open. With more time, you'll learn if you should continue a chase or break off and catch a survivor off guard. Plus, remember that survivors have 9 puzzle pillars in total that they can use to get the toy parts. The major key to winning is controlling areas with your toy's mobility in mind and forcing survivors to enter your territory till their numbers dwindle down. Now on to sabotages. Some are great in my opinion, while others are very situational. First up is Feeding Frenzy. If you down any survivors or down them during its activation, they're automatically sent to the feeding pit. This is useful if there's a group working together on puzzles and you can just focus on downing multiple survivors. It saves time having to find a down survivor if they crawled away while you chase somebody else and bring them to the feeding pit, but I think there are better sabotages to use. Booby Trap causes damage to the survivor trying to use the puzzle pillar that is affected, alerting the toy to which pillar you interacted with. This isn't as strong as some other sabotages, and if one survivor has a healing perk, that will negate the damage by the time you get there. Directionless works by removing pillar outlines and other HUD indicators the survivors can see. Once survivors get better and learn more, this isn't a hard sabotage to deal with, so not a big fan of it. Living Nightmare, however, is a much stronger rendition to the previous sabotage. The survivors are shrouded in a dark fog that obscures their sight so they can't see very far from their location. For survivors that have keen eyes, this helps you close in without them noticing how far you are or seeing paths to run while trying to escape from you. This could be a great sabotage in the right hands. No pack doesn't last long, even upgrade to level 3, but it's one of my favorites to use. This stops all usage of the grab pack, making survivors either group up to fix the grab packs or wait out the timer. This will stop them from completing puzzles, rescuing others, or using tools like the crash doors during a chase. Once I spawn as a toy, I activate the sabotage as fast as I can to stop progress on puzzles and corner my first victim. No escape stops all crash doors and grapple handles from functioning, while the lockers open up showing if there's any survivors hiding inside of them. This only stops some of the tools the survivors have to use, and honestly better survivors probably wouldn't use lockers anyway. It may stop survivors from using certain areas during a chase, but they can still use low ceiling pathways and stairs to elude and break sight from you. It should be used mostly during chases and may be used while getting used to a toy's mobility mechanic traversing around a map during chases. Shutdown on the other hand could be strong if used wisely. This will break all puzzles, forcing survivors to repair one of 2 breakers to continue working on them, giving you a chance to set up an attack on survivors as they're forced to go to one of these 2 locations. It's a 50-50 chance that you might get someone, so use only with caution as it may not prove all too useful. Lastly, there is Total Lockdown, which makes all crash doors close for its duration. This sabotage can be very strong, closing survivors in an area forcing them to use certain paths, but can also make it harder for you to access certain areas. This has the potential to be strong or screw you over. More of a double-edged sword in my opinion. My top 3 sabotages would have to be No Pack, Living Nightmare, and No Escape in that order. Now onto the toys themselves. Each toy has a certain playstyle which has its advantages and disadvantages. The key to each toy is their mobility options. Knowing how to properly use them will help down more survivors and earn more victims to the feeding pit. I would thoroughly go through each toy's abilities and how they should be properly played, giving you an idea of each toy's role. Boxy Boo is more of a chasing toy. His mobility is the best, which consists of a giant leap using his springs to help traverse upper and lower levels easily, like the walkways in the Toy Factory map or the balconies on the theater map. Even smaller obstacles can be bypassed by a well-placed leap, making it hard to escape from your grasp. Your attacks are the quickest out of the 3, making grabs from a locker easier, but your damage output is weaker. Using his hand to drag survivors back to you has a very short cooldown, and can be used during chases if survivors are gaining too much distance, and even pulling them back from grapple bars or right before they shut a crash door on you, leaving them stuck between the door and you. Huggy Wuggy is by far the most balanced toy overall. His mobility really comes down to his charge ability, since you have a normal jump that's not very high, making it useful to jump over small barriers only. The charge ability has a long cooldown, and at the moment it's bugged since it would have instant down a survivor, but does nothing but gain distance for now. Once the bug is fixed, this is your best ability to down pesky survivors. The downside is the charge gains the maximum distance going in a straight line. If you verge left or right, the distance is cut in half. Use in tight corridors only, so survivors can't turn and avoid the attack. The mini Huggy sentries are also a great tool for getting info on survivor locations, or if they might be going for a save, giving you time to head back and continue the pressure in the area you're locking down. I believe the max you can have set out is either 4 or 5 mini Huggy sentries. The cooldown is short, so you can keep cycling them around the map as the number of survivors go down and complete pillars. Last we have Mommy Longlegs, which I consider a specialty toy type. She has no jumping capability, but can stretch her arm as long as she wants, pull herself to that point, and then stay attached to the wall or ceiling. Unless you learn better placements while moving around the map, some maps like the Toy Factory can be challenging with all the low barriers scattered around. While reeling your arm in, you can get snagged on these low barriers, making it hard to overcome them. She is great at ambushing though, since she can attach to the ceiling waiting for a survivor to come by, and the use of a sabotage that complements this. Her E ability allows her to see all the survivors through the walls but not lockers, lasts only a few seconds, and has a very long cooldown. This ability is best used after downing a survivor and then dropping them into the pit to know if anyone is hiding around waiting to get the save, and knowing where to go for your next victim. Last is her webbing. While using it, it depletes depending on how much webbing you've used, allowing you to use small bursts or all of it to slow the survivor down. After it's been used, it takes a bit before it's refilled, and then you can go using it again. Definitely the toughest toy to use out of the 3 with her drawbacks, but in the right hands, she can be one of the best toys to use. Well now, here we are at the end. Hopefully this gives you a better understanding of each of the toys' capabilities and how to become a true monster as you destroy the survivor's hopes of getting out alive. Leave a comment on which toy is your favorite to play. Make sure to watch my survivor guide once it's out. This has been Click. Keep an eye out and say hi if you see me at a lobby. Happy hunting.